Well, greetings, y'all, and welcome back, everybody else. Again, a little something different. A little bit of a cleaning video. Got this case here, Trapper. This belongs to a friend of mine that I work with. He found out I was doing a little bit of knife work, and he asked me if I could just kind of give it a look over and kind of just clean it up, sharpen it up good for him. For the most part, there ain't anything wrong with it, but there is this chip broken there, and that around that pin, and that crack goes. So afterwards, I am gonna try to stabilize that. Use a little bit of glue and stabilize that crack a little bit. Not gonna try to replace this chip that's missing. He said eventually, if that ended up breaking off or if it got worse, he would just see about having it rehandled. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of clean this up and use the fiber wheels on our Dremel and kind of clean these blades up good and sharpen it. He's used it. This is his daily user. Still got a little bit of snap on the full open on the blade, no half stop. I don't know if it ever did have it, and there's no snap on the close. So we'll get this thing cleaned out, and yeah, see a little snap. We'll get this thing. I know you can't really see on the camera, but we'll get all that cleaned out good, and see if we can put a little shine back to this thing. So I hope y'all enjoy the video. So I'll pull both of these blades open. See. Clean that up just right. And like I said, we'll go over it again. So the fiber wheels did pretty good. They cleaned these blades up real good. And I'll use a sunshine cloth, polishing cloth, here in a little bit. We'll go over all of it, you know, the blades and the bolsters and everything. But yeah, like I say, it wasn't in that bad a shape to begin with. It really wasn't, but it cleaned up. It cleaned up really good. It really did. I'll just a little more kind of. I'll put it on my sharpener here in a minute, and we'll get him a good edge going back there. I've got one of these Work Sharp sharpeners, and I do a lot of the knives I sharpen. Oh, sorry. So I don't know if you can tell, but about 21 degrees, because there's the 20 mark, and then one more above that. So I do about 21 degrees. And if you're not familiar with these Work Sharp systems, they're awesome. Everything's pretty much magnetic. You know, you clamp your knife blade in that, and it's got the padding, but you clamp your knife blade in that, and it goes in this receiver. And the sharpening rod I have has 320, 600, and then just a polishing stone. So because the edges on his are as rough as they are, I am gonna hit it a couple of times with his 320, and just to kind of get it started, then we'll go down from there. But yeah, this thing, the little tip right there is magnetic up into there, and there you go. You got a steady angle all the way across. So I'll get it rigged up here in a second, and we'll get him an edge going. So the edge on this one blade was in pretty bad shape, and I used the 320 to really kind of set it, but I've gone down to the 600 now, and it's getting into shape. I have, when I start with the polishing stone, and say here's that, say it just moves over and switches to the other side. You ain't got to take anything apart. But yeah, when I move to the polishing stone, I've got some of Brother Rex's slip joint juice that I'll show you again. I think I've shown it off in videos before. I'll use it as like a honing oil, because it's great. I mean, it's a cleaner, it's a lubricant, it's a honing oil, all in one. So yeah, I think we're about good on that. Go to here's our slip joint juice. And when I say just a drop or two, I'm gonna put a drop there, and a drop there, maybe a fourth one there. Spread this like this, and that is plenty. This stuff goes a long way. Really does. Now I'll probably put some more on it. I'll probably reapply some later, but just good. And you ain't got to press hard. These diamond sharpeners, these diamond surface sharpeners, well, in the 600 and the other one, it does all the work right by itself. You just give it a good steady hand, and it takes care of the work for you. So I'll keep on with this blade, and I'll get on the clip point, and we'll get them all worked back into shape, and then we'll look at a couple other things after a while. So I got the angles reset on this spear point, or the clip point blade, and they were rough. I really had to kind of work it to get the angles back right for a good edge, but I finally did. So now I'm back on this 600 grit diamond surface, and we'll go back and forth a couple of times with it, and we'll get it polished right up, and then we'll kind of lubricate the whole thing. I'll put some of this slip joint juice, like I showed you. We'll put some of that around the hinge, the pivot pins there. Maybe get a little bit of snap, at least just clean that up a little bit, and go over it with a polishing cloth. Might try to stabilize that crack a little bit, but I think it cleaned up pretty good. All right, guys, so I won't show you all this, but I just wanted to kind of start going over it a little bit. These bolsters. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Get a little polish to them. Yeah, these sunshine cloths, these things, you know, you can work a knife with all different kinds of, you know, cleaning surfaces or, you know, sandpaper or whatever, and all of that has its use. But I definitely recommend finishing up with one of these sunshine cloths, because just, see, that's what we've taken off so far. And we'll hit this back spring. Oop, hit my camera. Hit this back spring, clean this spine up a little bit. See, that right there. And get these bolsters on this other side. But yeah, I'm glad he gave me the chance to clean this up for him. Like I said, it ain't showroom, you know, day one brand new, you know, level, but you know, I don't have a problem saying that's not my specialty. And if somebody had something that they wanted, you know, they wanted it restored all the way back to the way it looked when it came off the assembly line, I will gladly recommend other people that know a lot more about this than I do. But yeah, clean that up real good. But you know, an old saying I've used it for years, and I've heard other people say it as well. You know, let an old knife be an old knife. You know, clean it up, take care of it. You know, do a little bit of a polish. You know, maybe some, you know, sanding and repair work on it. But you know, let an old knife be an old knife. You know, I got another knife I'm gonna be working on for another friend. It's actually a fixed blade knife, an old trade old timer, one of their fixed blade hunters, and we think it's from like the 70s or something like that. You know, it got some pitting in the blade, and he was like, hey, if that's still there, you know, so be it. But you know, but it'll still clean up good. So guys, I appreciate you checking out the video. I know this is the first, you know, kind of restoration cleaning video I've done, so maybe a little rough around the edges, if you'll pardon the expression, but I appreciate you checking it out. For sure, I had a lot of fun working on this knife for my friend Seth. And like I said, this is just his everyday work knife. So I told him we could definitely bring a little bit back to her, for sure. And this has got, there's the pattern stamp, the 6254. Got that case surgical steel blades in it. But yeah, I'll finish kind of polishing up on this a little more, and may lubricate it a little more, but I think we're pretty good on that. But yeah, thanks for checking out the video. Y'all have a good one.